Okay, you can squat on down here, son.
Okay.
So here we are in quarantine, self-quarantine. We have 14 days because we were in Europe. Let me tell you about all that happened through CDC. At the Chicago airport, spent about 6.5 hours there. But let me tell you how all that went. Today is March 16th, 2020, and the coronavirus is just starting to rage.
Seems like Star Trek. Today is March 16th, 2020.
Captain's log, president's log. So anyway, we're here self-quarantining. This is day 2? 1. This is day 1.
3?
2 for you.
2
And we have 14 days, and we're just going to be responsible global citizens and do what the government asks us to do. We don't always agree with everything, but you know what? It never hurts. And I hope that other people do the same. So let me show you. So we got into, here's what happened. We were in Rwanda, Kigali, Rwanda. And on March 10th, we flew back and we decided to cancel the trip to Italy for obvious reasons. And so, and to go to London instead. So we flew into London and went to Stonehenge and all that. And then, but we landed in Brussels on the 10th, and then a couple hours later flew to London. Well, they banned the European travel into the U.S. So we said, hey, let's just head back. So the soonest flight was the 14th. So we were going to go to Houston, but instead because we had been in Brussels in Belgium for 2 hours at the airport, they said, hey, rule is if you've been in Europe in the last 14 days, then you have to go to Chicago where the CDC is, they're testing and all that sort of thing. So we did. We flew into Chicago. We got off the flight. We had 5 hours to catch our flight. And so let me show you how this worked. So we get off the airplane, and then we went down these steps here, and then we went down. There was a line of people up the steps. Okay, then we go down this long hallway, which was like, seriously, it feels like maybe a quarter mile or so long hallway. We go this way, and then we go this way, and we're like, oh, sweet. And we go over here, and here are the customs booths here. All along here.
Remember the boundary line, Dad?
Yeah, I'll show you that in a second. So we go through this big long line, okay? It was seriously quarter mile maybe. It was, no, maybe not that long. It was pretty long though. And then we have to go in the line like this, and then like this. It was worse than Disneyland.
World.
Orland or World. So seriously, we go like this, and then we come around here, and then we go over to here, and they go, and then we got into these lines. There were different lines here.
It took a while.
And we got into different lines here, and we finally go through. We go, sweet. Then they had a piece of paper that was like a regular sized sheet of paper and asked us all these questions. Have you had any kind of issues with things, whatever? So we took this piece of paper after we got through the line. I think we were right about here. We went through the line, and then we come back up here, and we walked along the same line we had gone through, and we turned back around and got in line again. And this time we're on this side of the wall of the hallway here. And we go in here, we're like, oh man, and then it goes like this.
But a little bit longer than the other one.
Oh my gosh. It was long, and my backpack was 32 pounds. I'm not kidding like this. So then we go in through, we got into one of these lines here, and then they go, okay, you're through. We sat there for 5-10 minutes with this guy, and then they go, okay, now go get in line over here. So then we go over here, we get in line. And now, by now, it's been almost 5 hours. Our flight was leaving, and we get in here, and he says, you need to go through this next checkpoint, which is the CDC now. So we go, wait in this line. This was a lot faster. And then over here, they had these tables set up with all these people here asking us all these questions.
We're into the third one.
This is the third line, and we go over here to the third, and he says, hey, have you had a fever? Have you had a cough? Or what was the other one box you could check?
trouble breathing or
Yeah, trouble breathing, a fever, or a cough within the last 48 hours. And I said, well, I kind of have this cough that's been kind of nagging for quite a while. It's like since Christmas. It's kind of weird. He goes, oh, you said the magic word. Come over to here now. So the wife and kids went and got the luggage. They went off this way.
Literally ran.
And jumped, got the luggage, rechecked it, ran and got on the airplane and flew back to Dallas, Fort Worth Airport. And y'all got to bed around, you got here about midnight, right? Here to the tents?
Yeah.
What happened with me, though, they sat me in this chair here. And then I went into these offices and they said, so your cough, you have a cough. So what kind of, here, look up at me. So what kind of hack have you been having? Move your finger.
Oh, yeah.
What kind of hack have you been having? What's the phlegm look like? Have you had a fever? Any kind of headaches? Trouble breathing? They had me in a private room. The guy was real nice. Everyone was really cool. They were bringing water around to everyone in the airport and snacks, Cheez-Its, stuff like that.
Those are good Cheez-Its.
Okay, I'll be there in a second. I'm right in the middle of a video, sweetie. And so they asked me all these questions. They said, you might have coronavirus. So when you get back, you're going to have to self-isolate. Self-quarantine for 14 days, please. And so anyway, I was in the room for about 10 minutes maybe, with this guy who was asking me all these questions. They had these masks on. They had the mask over their mouth, and they had these like cough shields for like splash guards. And they weren't messing around. Everybody was really cool. And everybody was very understanding, but it was about 6.5 hours until that point where they let me go. So then I went to the counter. I went over to Terminal 1 in Chicago, and they said, and I was second in line there. As soon as I got in line, and there was only one person working, and then a couple other people came. Well, when I got up to the counter, I looked behind me. There were probably 150 people in line behind me. I happened to get there just in time. That was just, all of them were rebooking their flight. It was about 10:30, 10:15, 10:30 when that happened. So I got a discount at a Holiday Inn and took the shuttle over there, and I got the first flight out in the morning. It was 8:42 flight. That was yesterday, the Sunday, Sunday the 15th.
So it wasn't our fault that we got self-quarantined.
Well, we were supposed to because we had been in Europe. So anyway, so that's how it happened. So I flew in, got here at 11:30. Mom, Suzette, picked me up, the kids. They had the dogs with them, a couple of the dogs. They were excited. And then we drove and had some tacos for breakfast. And
really good.
Yeah, they were really good. And anyway, that's how it all went. That's how the virus quarantining, checking, all that stuff went. They took your temperature there at the final table. They took the temperature a couple times to make sure that we were okay. They didn't administer any tests, any swabs up the nose or any blood tests or anything. There were too many people. Cross, you were a little concerned that might happen?
Yes, a little.
But now here we are looking for things to do. 4-hour self-quarantine for 14 days. Cross and Sella, they're 10 and 12. They wanted to go play with their friends, Ethan and Anna, but we told them, kids, no go. We got to take it easy. So it is what it is, and I hope that everyone self-quarantines too. Thanks.
Wait, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Officially 9.